morning, Sainers. Welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Welcome back to Saints TV Weekly for March 4th, 2024. We are less than 2 weeks out now from round one, and we just want to thank our sponsor of this video, Inglewood Coffee Roasters. Check them out on www.inglewoodcoffeeroasters.com.au. We've got a discount code SaintsTV40 throughout the entire season to get you 40% off coffee, tea, and chai. And if you don't like coffee, you gotta like tea. And if you don't like tea, you gotta like chai. And if you don't like any of them, well, try them, and then you probably will like them. So thanks to Inglewood for jumping on board for season 2024. Now let's get straight into the news. So yesterday we took part in the final preseason game, the AFL Community Series game against North Melbourne at Moorabbin. So awesome turnout by the Sainers at the ground. It was packed, which was amazing to see on a nice, cloudy, sunny, whatever you want, sort of Moorabbin day. I didn't think it was going to be that sunny, and then I got burnt. So thank you, Moorabbin. Classic Melbourne weather. But nonetheless, we got the job done. It was a tight game. It was a tough game. It was a fiery game. And just before we get into anything else about that game, let's just talk about Jimmy Webster and Jai Simpkin, that whole situation. And we're going to find out more today, no doubt. Obviously, it'll go straight to the tribunal. And I'm not going to really speculate on how many weeks I think Jimmy's going to get. But let's just say if Powell Pepper gets 4 or 5 or whatever it was, Jimmy's getting more than that. So I'm hoping that Jai Simpkin's okay today. I think they did do the concussion test, I think, yesterday, and it might have come up okay, but he didn't play out the game anyway. But at least that's okay. But it's not a great look, and it's not a football action what he did, I don't think, but it is a split-second decision, and I know he could have chosen 3 or 4 other options, and he didn't, and that's the consequence. But I think let's have it play out. And I know that Jimmy would be feeling pretty shitty at the moment. Let's just hope that everything kind of works out in the next couple of days and we can focus on the football, because we don't want any distractions in the next 12 days. We just want to focus on Geelong on March 16th. Now the game, we won by 19 points. The first half was great. First half we kicked 60 points. I thought, wow, we kicked 3 goals 10 in the second quarter. Could have had a much bigger margin at halftime. We didn't. There's a very strong breeze in the third. I felt like we tried to shift the ball around a little bit more in the third and switch it out of the back half. And with the wind the way it was yesterday, which was like 40-kilometre winds at times or something like that, it was crazy. North had a huge advantage in that third, and they just bombed it in. And they kicked like 3 goals just straight out the centre clearance because the wind was that strong, which wouldn't happen at Marvel, wouldn't happen at the G. Not an excuse for that third quarter, but I don't think it's as bad as what it seemed at the time. I think they just took full advantage of all the conditions around them, and we were struggling to get it out simply because the ball would hold up in the air and basically come back the other way. So we couldn't penetrate at all in that third term. But on the flip side, we finished the game really strong. We almost turned it back on. We amped the heat up, we amped the speed up, and we finished the game the stronger. North had hit the front, and we ended up winning by 19 points. So we kind of cruised away at the end. And I did a full review with Jaden after the game. We talked about Darcy Wilson, who should be a lock for round one. Ronnie Burns was excellent. Backline was amazing again. Bonner has got to be a starter for round one. Stocko's probably got the back pocket spot locked up now because of the fact that Jimmy Webster's not going to be playing for a fair while. Club also released the Stickman Guernsey, a retro Guernsey, which I think is pretty damn amazing. We'll just get an image up now. Check that out. I think it's pretty awesome. I was excited to see the boys run out with it as a surprise, but they already had them hanging up at the merch stores on the way in. So I saw it hanging. I was like, so that's what we're wearing. It's like, maybe just hide them from the merch store before we see them. I don't know. If you really want it to be a genuine surprise, but nonetheless, I thought it looked awesome. And I mean, if we wore that once throughout the season, I wouldn't be disappointed. I think it's a really nice Guernsey, and it's a bit of a throwback. Eli Templeton vibes, I think it was, one of the boys said when they looked at it. So, great look there, and hopefully we've got some more Guernseys to come this year. In other great news, Corey Enright, our backline coach, and Damien Carroll have committed to the Saints for a further 2 seasons, which is as good as signing a decent player, to be honest. The way Corey Enright's worked with that backline and turned it into the strongest part of the ground for us. And then Damien Carroll, obviously, has been huge in terms of head of development and learning for the boys and really focusing on the youngsters and just being an overall amazing sort of leader in the coaching reins at Moorabbin under Ross Lyon, and obviously he knows Ross very well and worked with him before. So I think having those two signed on is excellent, especially Corey Enright. I was a bit worried that eventually he would go back to Geelong and work there because he's so well respected, obviously, in the Geelong world, but obviously as a coach that, I didn't want to lose him too quickly because you see that all the time. And to lock him down for 2 years, I think is a massive thing. And you don't see that very often when clubs kind of announce coaches signing on. It just kind of happens. But these two are huge for us. So to get them signed on is massive. And lucky last, Windhager's had his surgery, which is great. So it's looking like he is touch and go for round 1, more likely than not. But if not, definitely round 2 against the Pies. Jack Sinclair, very similar. Touch and go for round 1. If not, round 2 against the Pies. Brad Crouch should be right for round 1. Hunter Clark had a setback, which is really, really disappointing. He hurt his calf last week and he's out for, I think, another further 4 to 6 weeks, which is just shocking. I just can't stand reading all this news about Hunter Clark and how he's killing it at training. Then 1 second he gets hit in the head and then he comes back and then he's looking good and then he hurts his calf and he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. It's, you look at the way we played in the midfield yesterday and we got battered in there a little bit, I thought. Even though we won clearances, I think we got our asses handed to us in a way. But, you're missing players like Crouch, Clark, Dow, Windy. There's 4 rotation players there and, there's a lot of grunt there as well. And, we need to find other avenues now if they're not going to have these sort of players for a fair while. That, Ross might have to put on his thinking cap this week and really think of how do we take care of Geelong if we're missing, some serious firepower in that midfield. Our midfield's not the strongest point on the ground by far, so to miss players of that caliber already is really, really telling, and it makes returning players like, say, a Zachy Jones, who I believe is in full training now, all the more important, especially his point of difference with his speed. With Machida going through there a little bit yesterday, Filippo going through there, maybe Darcy Wilson could go through there. I reckon he could play anywhere. We're going to have to think of other combinations in that midfield to get things going in the first couple of weeks. That's Saints TV Weekly, Sainers. A nice little cruisy one. We're 12 days out from round 1, so stay tuned. The content is amping up. Podcast tonight. Saints TV live tomorrow night with Max and Jordan are returning, so tune in, I think, around 7:30 for that. 6:30 potty on Tuesday nights on YouTube, so subscribe if you want to watch that and get the notifications. And then we've got the match previews, match reviews when the matches are on, not this week, and then hopefully a new show or two coming up as well, like an opposition analysis before games. Jaden will hopefully be taking care of that, so very excited to have him on board, and the website with articles and all that sort of stuff is kicking off. So stay tuned for all that stuff, Sainers. But in the meantime, get your Inglewood coffee or tea or chai. And I'll see you very, very soon. Podcast tonight. So looking forward to it. Enjoy the rest of your week, Sainers. And as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.